Hi, YouTube family. Lisa A. Romano here, the life coach, and today I've been asked by Dorothy from Australia to confront why it is codependents struggle so much with anger, resentment, frustration, and all the negative crap that codependents end up carrying with them in their energetic bodies. And so, a couple of things that we have to get straight right off the bat is that codependency implies that you are having a difficult time holding on to yourself in relation to other people. So your mood is affected by the mood of your partner, the mood of your children. Your mood is very much hinges on what's going on outside of you. And so, although very rarely do codependents ever stop to ask themselves, the reality is that when your mood is not something that you're in control over, then you feel powerless lots of the time. Codependence, although we very rarely stop to think about what's going on, on the foundation or in the foundation of our subconscious mind, but we really do expect other people to read our minds. We expect that because we're being nice to other people, they should just naturally do what we want them to do. We think that because we're so kind to other people, that people should be naturally kind back to us. And so we are being kind, but we're being kind because secretly we expect that other people now are going to do what we think they should do. This is what happens though, dear one. We end up doing all these nice things for other people, and then guess what? It doesn't come back. Now, again, this is all below the surface. It's not in our conscious mind. Remember we talked about in an earlier video, Dorothy, remember we talked about I want you to draw a building that's like 3x3 square, and I want you to imagine that the first floor represents the subconscious mind where all the programming is. Programming from where? From childhood. What did you learn to believe about yourself? Did your mom and dad teach you that you were worthy? If they didn't teach you that you were worthy, chances are they taught you that you were nothing. And so now throughout your life, you've been searching for the sense of validation. How? Most oftentimes we search for validation by doing nice things for other people or anticipating the needs of other people. But there are lots of reasons why. Some of the reasons why are because we have this subconscious programming that has us believing that we're good. We're black and white thinkers. So I am good if I take care of you. And I am good if I ignore myself. Holy crap, dear ones. If you don't take the time to sit down and really, really pull it apart, you is in trouble. Like seriously in trouble. Because if there is below the surface this idea that I'm bad if I take care of me, you are not going to naturally, innately take care of yourself. You will forever and a day look to attract dysfunctional people so you can take care of them, because below the surface there is this idea that if you take care of other people, you're good. And that somehow, somewhere, that pat on the back is going to come right around the corner. It doesn't come, dear one. It doesn't work. It's a negative, dysfunctional, backwards belief system. It's an illusion. It's an absolute illusion. Number one, your worth is a given. You are worthy. Even if you don't ever do anything else for anyone ever again, you are worthy. Okay, there's no one out there that says, you're worthy if you do this and you're not worthy if you don't do that. That's a bunch of bull. It's a bunch of malarkey. It's a bunch of nonsense. It's an absolute illusion. Your worth is a given. You are energy. At your core, you are nothing but energy. You are more energy and light than you are physical. It's, do the study quantum mechanics, quantum physics, quantum entanglement, and you'll figure that out. So, we are codependent because we are expecting other people to agree with us. We're codependent because we keep waiting for someone else to validate our experience. We think that someone else has to give us permission to feel. And so guess what? We're attracting negative people. We're attracting people whose agenda it is to not hear us. So the whole 2 + 2 = 4 thing, it's off. We're playing by 2 + 2. We think we're going to get 4. But the game that we're playing nets us 0. The more you give to someone who's a taker, the more they take. So you end up losing all the time. So codependents are angry for lots and lots of reasons. They're angry because they're working off this programming that has them believing they need validation from outside of self. Okay, then they attract people whose agenda it is not to validate them. So that equation doesn't work. So you're a mom, you have 3 kids, and you're taking care of your husband who blames you for everything, blames you for why he cheats on you, blames you for why he's angry, blames you for why it's raining, blames you for why the kids are failing in school, blames you for everything. Okay, you're codependent. Mom and dad were alcoholics. You were taught that you were nothing. So you now seek validation from an energy being who's like mom and dad. You've attracted an energy being that's like mom and dad, whose agenda it is to keep you on the hook, seeking his validation, and he knows it. And so until you, dear one, figure out that you might have people in your life whose agenda it is not to hear you. Okay, so if you've attracted people whose agenda it is not to hear you, you're going to be frustrated. Okay, so how do we back out of that? Well, what we do is we start validating self. And we go into conversations with other people like this. All up here. Today when I have this conversation with Joe Schmo, my agenda is going to be to clarify how I feel, and it is not going to be to seek his validation and to get him to agree with why I feel the way I feel. Today when I have this conversation with Joe Schmo, it's irrelevant to me whether or not he agrees with me. My agenda is to hold on to myself, like we talked about in those other videos. Hold on to myself. My agenda is to represent myself clearly and articulately, and to disentangle myself on a quantum level from this person whose agenda it is to not hear me. My agenda, speaking to Joe Schmo, is to state how I feel, to accept that he does not have to agree with what I feel, and to 3, decide what I want to do about what comes out of his mouth. So the other thing that I want everyone to understand is that codependents unconsciously are waiting for validation, and they're waiting for someone to give them permission to feel the way they feel. But we attract people whose agenda it is to disregard how we feel and to get us to believe that what we feel is unimportant. We are taught to believe that what we think and what we feel we should be ashamed of, or we have no right to feel what we feel, or that our feelings are ridiculous. And so there are lots of reasons why we're angry. Now, we get resentful over time because we keep playing off this dysfunctional programming that has us believing that if I do X, Y, and Z, Joe Schmo is going to see me. Joe Schmo is going to pat me on the back. Joe Schmo is going to validate me, and the heavens are going to open up, and butterflies are going to start circling my head, and we're going to live happily ever after. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So, Dorothy, I hope that this has helped clarify why it is so many of us struggle with anger, resentment, and frustration and all that negative stuff. You is going to be very resentful of whoever you've attracted into your life whose agenda it is to not hear you. Okay, if you keep playing off that program that says, I need Joe Schmo's validation, I'm angry, I'm going to tell my husband how I feel, and then I expect my husband to say, oh, I understand why you feel that way, Dorothy. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. And once you understand that that's not going to happen, that's not the way it works in codependent dynamics. It's the opposite. Once you accept that fact, you're going to feel incredibly empowered because you're going to stop seeking validation from a rock. Listen, if I'm talking to a rock and I think that rock is supposed to validate me, and I really believe that this rock is supposed to validate me, I'm going to feel powerless, angry, frustrated, and like there's something wrong with me. The moment I understand that I've attracted someone into my life whose agenda it is to not hear me, oh my God, the shackles get released. You are freed. You are freed. Your truth sets you free. The truth sets you free. The truth is I'm going to refrain from saying anything negative about codependents that attract narcissists or the narcissists that we attract. I'm going to refrain from saying anything negative. So when you accept the truth of the reality is that people that we attract don't want to hear us. That's a truth. That truth shall set you free. When you understand that you have a right to feel what you feel, that truth shall set you free. This is a cause and effect universe. You attract people whose agenda it is not to hear you. You're going to be pissed off. You're going to be angry. You're going to be ornery. You're going to be kicking the dog. You're going to feel sorry for yourself. And nothing gets done. So, Dorothy, I hope this has answered your question, dear one. Thank you so much for writing to me and telling me how much you appreciate my work. And I look forward to working with you one-on-one. Namaste. Bye.